Right, hi there. So this is my second attempt to make this little video, a little bit of practice. The last one I thought I was filming, but the camera ran out of power. So here's another plant. This one's concert, so it's got a label. And you can see these are all the partially decomposed leaves, but you can see there's various baby plants here. So the idea is that I separate all these out. So let's get on with it. Tip the thing out. It wants to come, just about. Get rid of the original pot and try and tease these little plantlets apart. Now some of them might be coming off the main stem and you won't be able to get separate plants. But we'll see how we do. Then when we get them apart, then we can think about stripping off the old leaves. Now let's have a look here what we got. See, that's broken, that one, so that's not a very good start. There we go. Let's try and get some of these. Some of them are sort of easier to tease apart than others. Oh, there's one there. So that's quite nice. It's got two little plants there actually. There's one there with a bit of root on it. And there's a much more survivable plant there. So that's three I've got in total. Just try and tease these apart as best I can. There you go. So here I've got something, possibly two. See, now that's coming off the main stem there, so that might not come off as a separate plant. Yeah, it's got a little bit of root. Don't know whether you can see that. So I'll have that. There's another one here, so there's loads actually here. I might, but some of the really tiny ones, I might just leave them alone. We'll see. And then take them off at a later stage. So you've got here, you've got quite a few little plantlets here. So we'll try and get these separated away. There you go, there's a nice little plantlet with some roots on it. See if we can get these off. That wants to stay on. That's on now. That's on that main stem. You see that main root stem there. It's stuck on there and it doesn't have its own roots, so it comes off like that. So I'm going to take those off regardless. That one's got a bit of root on it, so that's okay. Okay, so this is probably the mother plant, and I can see some other bits of leaf anyway. So what I'm going to do now is start stripping from the bottom all the dead leaves off and exposing what I've got underneath, because I've got a few little plantlets that are trying to grow, and they will probably won't take those off. They will get a bit buried, but they'll work their way to the surface, so they'll be okay. Take that off. Here we go. So we've got a nice, quite a healthy little plant there. So what I'm going to do now is get a pot. Now these pots are called long toms, which are the sort of pot they should be in, auriculas. And I'll just lower that and hold that into there, in the centre, and get some more compost around it. Now inevitably, I always end up getting a bit of compost on the actual leaves themselves. But try and avoid that because I don't want it to go down the crown, if you like. Okay, right. Now I'm not going to dress the top of these pots with alpine gravel until I see a flower stalk developing, at which point I'll probably dress the pot up. So you see that's my first one. And what I tend to do is this is concert, is put the label in just so I don't get confused. Now I'm going to work away at the others. And here we go. So basically I pick this one here, you see. It's got a nice lot of roots on it. It's got another little baby plant coming off the bottom. I don't know what I'll be able to do with that. We'll see when we get close to it. So I'm stripping these, basically these dead leaves off from the bottom up. I've got a nice little pile here in the corner of this grey tray of dead leaves, which are going to find their way to the compost at some point. Okay, right, so that's okay. So you can see there I've got that little plantlet there. Well, I'm just going to leave it there, right, because I think if I take that off, I don't think that'll survive. So I'll just leave it there. It will get buried, but it'll probably work its way to the top. So I'm putting the roots, got nice long roots, right to the bottom of the pot. I don't want them all squished up the top. Right, what I'm trying to do is avoid getting soil on the leaves, and particularly down the crown, which is quite tricky. You have to sort of protect it with my hand here and then pull it back and see. There you go. So you think, what's he doing? I can't see, but I'm actually protecting. There you go. That's not too bad at all. Can you see? That's okay. So there's two. And they just carry on like this. So here's another nice big one, and you can see the idea of stripping the leaves from the bottom. I found if you try and just grab the ones towards the top that need to come off, there's quite a lot of resistance. So, but I found if you strip them from the bottom, working upwards, they come. There you go. So that's all right, isn't it? It's a nice little plant with some roots. So we need another pot. Now, compost wise, I just put them in an alpine grit compost, but there are those people who are now putting them in orchid compost. I think the main thing is not to overwater them. They don't like that. I don't know why I'm putting all that compost in there. It's all right now. That's about right. Sometimes you have to put a bit of compost in first if the roots are not that long. And I tend to recycle the old compost. I don't throw it away, but mix it with fresh compost. So I've got a disease problem here with these plants, so I don't see why I can't use the old compost, because I'm grown in an alpine environment which is pretty well, I would imagine, nutrient deficient, so using old compost should be fine. Okay, there we go. I've run out of the old stuff now, which has been mixed with a bit of new, so I'll have to use new now. What I tend to do is try not to use stuff that's too damp, or definitely not wet. So there you are, those are the first three, and I've got here, down here, a whole bunch more of plants that's come off that you can see. So there's at least another 4 or 5 there that I've got to pot up yet. Okay.